Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jimmy, and today we're going to take a look at a few fixes for some issues that you may run into on your Samsung Galaxy S24 device. Now, I know that there's going to be a big update that'll start to roll out on February 22nd that'll fix not only these three big main issues, but I'm sure a bunch of these other smaller little problematic things as well. So I'm not going to go too in-depth with every single issue that I found online, just because a lot of people are talking about the display vividness, so that will be coming with this update starting to roll out on February 22nd. Also, a bunch of camera functions are being, improved when it comes down to better zoom, portrait mode, nightography, rear video shooting capabilities, and some other stuff when it comes down to Galaxy AI. So I'm going to cover a couple things that you can actually fix today if you run into any of these problems. Now, this first topic is talking about focus enhancer, and this is where you can do it in videos and pictures. It's not really an issue, but it's more or less a thing of, I want to tell you what is happening when you turn the focus enhancer on and when you turn it off. So it's this little icon right here, and you can see that now with it being on, it's a wider shot and everything in the shot is in focus. So right there, my phone is now in the frame and it's focused. And then when I turn it off, it'll actually come down and focus on what I was actually trying to take the picture of. Now, the reason why I wanted this picture is because this is what I wanted in the frame. This is what I wanted to be in focus, and it's being taken with the main camera sensor, which has a better, superior sensor itself when it comes down over into the megapixels and the way that it looks. So if we look at this just one more time, what we're doing is we're moving from the main sensor over into the wide angle sensor, and you can see that more is being captured, and we go from the main, which is the sensor in the middle, going up to the wide sensor, which is on the top of the phone, which is why it's able to get a different angle, which here is actually higher. Now, I'll show you an angle where I went in the horizontal mode, where you can see it actually moving over into the left. And with this one, you can see that we are either turning it on or turning it off. And when it's off, I'm focused on only the image or product in the middle. When it's on, it's a different angle and everything else is actually now in focus. I would rather have the depth of what I'm trying to capture of this product sitting right there. Now, that one right there, for both of those examples, was for photo. Now, let me show you what it looks like when you actually do it as a video when it is actually recorded. So this is not a screen recording. This is the actual recording itself. And right now, the focus enhancer is turned on. And that is because you can see other things within this video is actually within focus. And again, you might like the way that this looks. And so if this is your opinion and this is how you want it to go, then you can have your focus enhancer on. But this is when focus enhancer is turned off. This is with the main camera sensor for video. And this is what I want to capture. And it kind of makes everything in the background a little bit more of a blur. So it's giving a little bit of a depth. Now, I'm not doing a portrait video or a portrait photo of any of these. This is just the regular depth sensor of a regular photo and video. So what I'm trying to say is that if you would like to kind of fix this little problem or learn what's really going on, you can turn off your focus enhancer so you can get a more depth photo and video. So then this way, not everything is in focus and you're actually using the main camera sensor with a superior sensor with better image quality rather than using the wide angle sensor, which is just right above it. Now, topic number 2 is one that I read online where people were mentioning that they turned on their battery protection, but it wasn't actually doing what it was stated to do. Which when you go into your battery protection and you turn on adaptive, what is supposed to happen is that, let's say you used your phone throughout the full entire day and it went down to maybe 10 or 15%. You go to bed and you want it to do adaptive charging, which is where it goes first off into the maximum battery charging protection, which means it's only going to charge up to 80%. But what will happen with adaptive is that as you're sleeping, it'll go up to 80%. It'll stay there until it knows that you're about to wake up fairly soon. And then it's going to start charging again to give you 100%. Now, some people was mentioning that the adaptive battery protection was not working. And right here, you can see that it actually was. So in a second here, I'll show you the fix. But this is what it looked like. I've already had the phone for 2 weeks up to this point here. It's already learned all of my habits. It's learned my wake up schedule, learned everything. But even with the adaptive battery protection on, it still went up to 100% and it stayed all the way through the night. And it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to do this little image here, which is charge. It'll go up to 80%. It's going to stay there all the way up until it knows I'm about to wake up. and it's going to start charging again. You can see that it went up to 100%, and then I pretty much woke up right after that. So how you're able to fix this is you first want to turn off your phone. Now, once you turn off your phone, I'm going to show you how you can go into and clear the battery or clear the cache partition. So basically, clearing the cache partition is getting rid of data that's just kind of sitting in the void. Basically, when you do a bunch of changes or setting changes, or if you do a very big monthly update or software update, there's some things that's just kind of sitting in the middle there that causes a little bit of friction and issues, and this is how you're able to delete it. So what you want to do is just turn off your phone. You're going to press and hold on the volume up, and you're going to press and hold on power. And you're just going to keep pressing and holding on both of these until the screen shows or until you see the Android green little icon. Now, it looks as if with the latest Samsung One UI updates and with the latest Google updates, it just goes right into this screen here. So this is basically your recovery screen. Now, don't be afraid of everything you see. Basically, your volume up and volume down is going to be how you control it, and the power button is the enter. So all you have to do is go right over here, which is wipe cache partition. Now, once you select it, you hit on this power button, you go down, you hit yes, and then you go to reboot system. So you just cleared the cache partition. You're getting rid of this cache, this data that's just kind of sitting there in between these updates or in between all of these major setting changes that you're doing. And now it's going to kind of get rid of those and make your phone work the way it's supposed to. Now, the cool thing is that if you ran into any other smaller issues, this will fix it as well, not just the battery protection. It just happened to be that when you make all these different changes with your device, it happened to cause a small issue with letting the adaptive power or battery protection actually work. And once you're back inside your phone, you are good to go. All you have to do is just make sure that you go right back inside of your battery settings. You just want to make sure that when you take a look at battery protection, you just make sure that you still have adaptive. Give it maybe a day or two, or maybe it might work that night, but give it at least a day or two for it to kind of get ready to go, and boom, you're going to have your adaptive battery protection now working the way it's supposed to, rather than just putting you all the way up to 100%, which is not the option that you chose. Now, the next topic is one that's actually very simple, and it's going to make a lot of sense once you see it, and that is folks having issues with their fingerprint reader after some time. And they're stating that it originally worked, but then now it doesn't work, and then come to find out they put a tempered glass screen protector on their phone, and that is why it doesn't work as well. It's because you originally set it up without tempered glass, without this little layer of extra glass on your phone, and now that you put the extra layer of glass on the phone, it's not reading it the same way, so you may have to press harder. And maybe you even went into the settings, you went to display, and you even went to this option here, which is touch sensitivity. So it'll increase the touch sensitivity if you were to use screen protectors. Now, this thing happened to me as well. I originally set up my phone, I put in my fingerprint reader, and as I went through it, I finally put on a tempered glass. And then after I put the tempered glass on, I noticed it wasn't reading it as well. I turned on the touch sensitivity. It actually still wasn't reading it. And all you have to do is just erase your fingerprint that you had from before and reapply it. So all you have to do is, as you scroll on down, or you go into security and privacy, and then inside of here, scroll down to your biometrics, and inside of biometrics, just go right here to fingerprints. Now, once you tap here, you put in your PIN, and then inside of here, you press and hold on fingerprint, and you hit on delete. And once you delete it, you just add in your brand new fingerprint with the tempered glass, and now it's going to work flawlessly. Topic number 4 is another one of those that wasn't really much of an issue, but it was a topic online. It was a part of a forum, people asking the question, what is better, taking a portrait photo with either the blur all the way up or doing it with the blur all the way down? And then after the fact, going through and maybe editing to make it look the way that you want it to look. So this is pretty much the exact same photo. I went into a portrait mode. This is with the blur all the way down. You can see everything in the background pretty well. And this is with it all the way up. Even when you take a look at the very top, where it's going to be pretty hard to kind of make sure that this is not getting all hairy and blurry and ugly, it did a really good job on both options when it comes down to having it on blur 1 versus blur 7. Now, this is really fun because it's very, very interchangeable. These are the original image of each one, but what you can do is when you swipe up and you tap on background effect, let's say that we bring the blur strength all the way up to 7, and then we hit on save. So this one was originally at 1, and now it's at 7. And this is the one over here that was taken at 7. And you can see that there is not much of a difference between the two. So this is where I'm going to take a look on the very top, because that's where it can get pretty hairy and have a little bit of issues. So they both look very, very similar when it comes down to the end result. So it doesn't matter if you originally took it at 1 and then moved it up to 7, or if you originally took it at 7 and then you want to take this one all the way down to 1. So here's the original. I'm going to take this one actually all the way down to 0, not 1. So I'm going to take it down to 0, which is what I meant to say. And now you're going to see that it's going to look just like what the other image looked like as well. So if we're going to move right back over here, move this one, background effect, back down all the way down to 0, not 1. You hit on save, and now you're going to see that even when you reverse it, it's going to be pretty much the exact same image. So everything when it comes down over into the focus blur or the focus level, when you go inside of portrait mode, everything is done software. So you'll have the hardware take the photo with its portrait mode, and then everything else after that, when it comes down over into these options right here of background effect, all of this is going to be done with the phone no matter what, through software. So no matter what, you can have the reverse engineering of both of them come out the exact same way. If you go from 7 to 0 or 0 to 7. So to answer the question, does it matter or which one is better to take a picture at the background blur of portrait mode at 0 versus 7? It doesn't matter at all. Just depends if you want to make the change or you just want to take the image at exactly what you want it to look like. So if you don't want to make any changes later on, changing the strength from 0 or 3, 5, or 7, you might as well just take it live at the strength you want it to be. So that's everything that I wanted to cover in today's video. So it's kind of like a the more you know type of video, but there was a couple issues that I wanted to cover in today's video, talking about the fingerprint not really reading and also the battery protection issue. The other two was the more you know type topics, but hopefully you guys appreciated this video. Hopefully you guys liked what I covered. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.